Welcome back from that break. My name is Eddie Okela, and in the studio is Sylvain Gumisiriza. Of course, joining us from the comfort of his car or the sitting room is Pastor Joshua Martin Mugabe, and this is the Family Talk Show. Today on the Family Talk Show, we're discussing the topic of lessons learned from fathers, but particularly on this show, we're talking about lessons being learned by children, or lessons being picked by children in these 42 days of lockdown or in this coronavirus situation all across the world. But particularly in Uganda, we are in the lockdown, 42 days of lockdown announced by the President of the Republic of Uganda on the advice of the technical people, handling coronavirus situation in the country. Of course, coronavirus is real. We don't know so much about it, but we know it's real. We know people are dying. We don't know what extent is happening. So it's okay for you to protect yourself and be wise. And the Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. If you don't have knowledge, you will perish. If you don't seek knowledge, you will perish. So the knowledge we're giving here on the Family Talk Show is how to protect your children from perishing when the coronavirus situation is over. Ladies and gentlemen, all across the world, welcome to the show. Share it far and wide. Family Talk Show is here for you to discuss the problem of your family. And of course, share with us, what lessons do you think your children are picking from the lockdown?
Very interesting. But the children are very, very creative. And you notice that if we choose to listen to them, there are lots of things we can learn. Because you bear me witness, the days of your dad were not your days. And the days of your children are not going to be your days. The only challenge is when we think we are elders and we think life is conventional. It's always going to be from step A to step B to step C. And this is how we're supposed to be behaving. But if we choose to be keen, we can learn from our children. Number one, children are good at board games. For those of you at home, you give him a board game, give him the menu or the kind of instructions. Before you know it, he's playing. And I think this is the moment when parents need to interact with children in terms of, and there's a lot that is shared when you're playing games with your children. Could be Scrabble, could be chess, could be many games, many board games, but not only board games. For those ones that have got compounds, it's a time for them to probably buy badminton and play together. There's something interesting about this young boy, this young girl, when he or she finds that he has got the capacity to win a big person. I remember growing up, I used to play cards with my dad. And I don't know whether he would deliberately allow me to win him or I would actually win him. But in moments I would win, I would be very excited. I was able to win, and I would sometimes remind him of that. Then it would create this environment where he can say, hey, wait a minute, can we? And I find it so easy because I've been near him. And we've played cards together, so I can easily really listen to him. By the way, my situation with him changed a little bit later, but in early childhood, it was fun. So have fun with your children. And when they also want to see how you behave when you lose a game. Do you get annoyed? And in its sense, it sounds as though it's to the very serious parents sounds so stupid, but let me tell you, you have no idea how much you're cementing or you're strengthening that bond between you and your child. So be free to play with them. Allow them to ask you questions. Some of these questions are going to be weird questions. And don't claim you know it all. As in, surely, be humble enough to say, son, that one, I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out. Because they know you're a human being. There's no way you're going to claim you're superhuman. Especially the 9, 8, 10, 12. very, very, very sensitive. For them, when you lie, they can know that Dad has lied to me, but I don't have to tell him he has lied to me. But do you know what it means when a child keeps quiet about something he knows that you've not told him the truth? That is, you've lost his respect, and you will never know that you've lost his respect. So allow your children to ask you questions, and be free to let them know that some of these things you do not know. Research together on things which are researchable, or ask somebody together. The child will get to know, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I appreciate my dad understands that there are things he also doesn't know. So don't be the know-it. Don't be the know-it-all. And like we had said at the beginning, listen to them. Be attentive to them. Sometimes they just want to tell you their stories, and they don't want you to make a comment. Daddy, you know, this and this and this and this happened. This is what I did. This is what my friend did. Just listen in. If he does not say, what should I have done? Leave him. But the thing is, give him the courage to continue telling you the story, because he feels you need to know the story. Yeah. If you claim you don't have time to listen to that story, and you prepare another time, and that time doesn't come, you prepare another time, that time doesn't come, you might never find any more time.
With your son.
With your son.
Or with your daughter.
And growing up, at some point when you now think you have time, you want to listen to your son, he also doesn't have time.
For you.
So be careful. It is what you build right now that brings about the responsibility of this young boy, this young girl, at some point in your old age, when he feels, I need to go home and listen to my dad, I need to go home and listen to my mom, because he or she listened to me then.
Okay. The pastor is saying that 3 lessons that we need to teach our children, or we need to learn from our children. 1, life calls for adjustments. And number 2, begins with, life begins with what you have. Begin with what you have with your children. And number 3, your results will open the door for more to happen. 3 lessons that we have to teach our children in the lockdown, and 3 lessons that we as adults need to pick from there on this family talk show program that we're discussing today. Number 1, life calls for adjustments. Many of us are stressed because we have gone into the lockdown. The situation, embera, as we call it in Uganda, is not okay. All right? And if that embera is not okay, situation is not okay, life is not okay, don't push it to the children. Adjust so that you can be with your children, but don't say, you guys are pushing me, you don't know what I'm going through to put food on the table for you, you are never going to help me. I know some parents who will assure their children who are just 5 years old as if they wrote a letter to say, let me be born and you become my father and my mother. No, they have no idea what happened. So please, life calls for adjustment. Number 2, Pastor Joshua Martin McGarvey is saying, please begin with what you have. Parents, start with what you have and build on from there. And he's saying your children may not understand you at some point, but if you open up the doors, if you begin with what you have, it will open up the results of your actions to your children, will open up the door for your children to be part of that. Number 3, he said, lessons from our children. Lessons from our children. Number 1, be passionate about today. Don't show them that because we're in a coronavirus situation, Sylvain, things are bad. Some parents says, things are bad, we can't drink milk, we can't find biscuits, we can't even do anything, we can't even walk to the grass paspalam. Children don't want to hear that. He's saying that lessons to learn from children today, they still play, even when they're stressed. They still find time to enjoy their life. Sometimes they even forget about we're in a corona situation. For you, slapping them says, you're foolish, you don't understand that you're going to get coronavirus. But for them, they don't understand that.
Very true.
So that's a lesson from children, that when we're mentally becoming disturbed, when we're mentally stressed, we need to learn that from our children. So lesson from our children: 1, be passionate about today. Number 2, take more risk instead of being fearful. That is coming from Pastor Joshua. Take more risk. Learn from your children and take more risk. They say, wash your hand here, go this, go this. They will go and do the exact opposite. And you will cane them, tomorrow they'll do the same opposite. But in the process, they learn a lot. And
let's look at this one as a normal situation. And adjust, like he mentioned, because the beauty is, the Bible says there's time for everything.
Yeah.
This is time for the partial lockdown. There's going to be time for the release of the lockdown.
Yeah.
We had it the other time. We didn't know how long it was going to take. At some point, it came through. Children went to school, but so sorry they didn't stay long. Now they are back. But it's also important to know that it's also going to end. So let's not be on tension. Oh my God, oh my God. You know, 75% of our sickness is psychological.